As a junior creative, you're consumed by mastering your craft, whether it is writing or designing or filming, editing, or developing all kinds of creative things. However, as you mature and your creative passion inevitably turns into a professional career, you realize that it is your ability to solve clients' problems in meaningful ways that makes you and your work actually valuable. Very soon, your creative talent becomes a supporting function to your main offering, which is your ability to think and act strategically. Embracing your inner creative strategist is how do you go from making ends meet to making work that actually changes something. So if this sounds interesting to you, well then, let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Maynard, and I help creative professionals exactly like you to build a meaningful career and do the kind of work that makes an impact and generates an income. As soon as you hear something that helps or inspires you on your own journey, consider subscribing to the channel or just share it with someone who will potentially benefit from it. Have you ever heard the story that if all you have is a hammer, then pretty much everything else will look like a nail? The moral of that story is that many creators rely so much on their technical skills only that they miss out on about 90% of what it means to make valuable creative work. Thinking of yourself as less of a one-dimensional software jockey and more of a creative problem solver will not only be great for your clients, but it will definitely also be more fun for you and is actually critical for growing your career. Here are 3 super important reasons why you should consider adding strategy as part of the work that you do for clients. 1, you get to solve bigger, more important business problems. As you're increasingly training yourself to think strategically, you're beginning to see the bigger picture more clearly. This means that the specific creative problem that you were initially trained to solve now actually fades in comparison to the larger business challenge. Let me quickly give you an example. A client that hires you as a wedding photographer, for example, might be looking for a collection of photographs, but the problem that they're actually trying to solve is, can you help me to capture a once-in-a-lifetime experience and have the ability to share it for years to come? Or potentially a client hires you to design a website, but the problem they're actually trying to solve is how to better connect with their customers and ultimately how to convert those customers over to their call of action. Consistently focusing on solving the bigger problem will eventually bring you to our next milestone, which is, secondly, you get to promote yourself from technician to strategic partner. As you start discussing these bigger, more overarching problems with your clients, you inevitably position yourself as less of a creative technician and more as a strategic partner on their business journey. The implication of this is that you almost instantly go, in the minds of your clients at least, from having a once-off transactional type of benefit to them to embarking on a long-term business partnership together. The opportunity here is twofold. Not only can you now add significantly more value to your client's business, but you can also start shifting your focus to developing your own career, which brings me to my next point. Thirdly, as a strategist, you stop obsessing over daily tasks only and you start developing a lifelong career. As a strategist, you're less and less interested in filling your day with granular to-dos, and you get increasingly excited about the prospect of creating a space where you can do work that makes an impact and generates an income. This means that your vision shifts from what do I need to just make it to get through the day to what do I get to do today in order to build my career and secure my future as a creative pro. Matthew Kelly writes in his book, The Long View, that most people overestimate what they can do in a day, and we grossly underestimate what we can do in a month. We overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. Getting the balance right between the short-term and long-term perspectives is the difference between being mostly driven by reactionary type work or allowing yourself to start thinking and acting strategically. Okay, so how do you start adding strategy to your creative toolbox? There are reams of information available on how to develop the necessary skills. However, I want to give you 4 questions you can start asking clients and yourself today to at least start having those conversations centered around more strategic outcomes. And after that, I want to share my single best tip that has helped me to start practicing strategic creativity from the word go. So stick around for that. Before you even start discussing any type of solution or potential deliverable, ask your client this: what is the problem you want me to solve? Understanding the problem from their perspective is the foundation of any great strategy. Leaving room for complexity and nuance and having the ability to explain their own problem back to them in simple terms is how you go from beginner to master strategist, just like that. Secondly, ask them this: how have you tried solving this problem in the past? Getting a first-hand take on what hasn't worked not only prevents repeating those same mistakes, but it also demonstrates your empathetic understanding of your client's journey with their problem over time. Now, ask them this: when this problem is all good and solved, can you describe the outcomes you're hoping to achieve? Once again, this is by definition not a question of what do you think we need to make. The answer to this question is not solution-oriented, but outcome-based. For example, if the problem is they can't get their website to work right, the desired outcome would not be a better working website, but rather an exceptional user experience that delights their customers and finally translates to sales. Another example, if their problem is the lack of a suitable hammer that would drive a nail straight into the wall, the outcome would be a perfectly hanged frame and a beautifully decorated room. Finally, ask them, what are some of the obstacles that are blocking your progress, in your opinion? Having a clear picture of the current restrictions in their ecosystem would allow you to plot an effective and efficient strategic route around them and achieve the outcome by solving those obstacles. The answer to this question will also allow you to understand the sometimes weird dynamic interaction between different obstacles and position you to point them out to your client while you're suggesting a route to go around them. These questions will get you well on your way to start thinking and acting as a seasoned creative strategist and enable you to solve those bigger problems, become a strategic partner, and just build a lifelong career where you can do what you love. However, there is one thing that separates true strategists from the rest, and is the ability to dictate both the pace and the direction of the work. If you're blindly making what clients tell you to make, even how and when they tell you to make it, you have effectively abdicated as the strategist in the room, and you've once again just regressed into becoming the on-call technician. Core to the value proposition of the strategist is this idea that the solution should be a byproduct of a dynamic collaboration led by you, the strategist, not of what the client thinks it should be. For example, if I had to diagnose my own medical conditions and prescribe solutions, I would probably live on painkillers and cough syrup or something, I don't know. But just because I'm the one experiencing the pain of my problem does not by itself qualify me as the one to know also how to describe the solution. That is the role of the doctor, or in your case, the creative strategist. Never forget that from your client's perspective, you have to own the right and the responsibility of understanding the problem, navigating the obstacles, and then carefully formulating a solution that, when executed right, will bring about that desired outcome. Quite often, the final result of a perfectly plotted strategy will not be what the client initially wanted, but it will always be what they need in the moment. Your mission is to guide them from the former to the latter with clarity, with confidence, and with kindness. If you're serious about growing as a creative pro, check out some of these other videos or subscribe to the newsletter, and make sure you get weekly fuel for your own creative engine. All the links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.